This is Will Faerber from Art to Ride. I'm here today with our student Kristen Balsch, who is lunging the horse Contigo. And we had a question come in on the internet yesterday, a person trying to learn how to stretch their horse, and the question was, when she stretches her horse, the horse curls back behind the vertical. Now that usually tells me the horse has probably been broken at the third vertebrae in the neck, or at least been loosened there by use of draw range or something somewhere along in his life. That's something that we find very often. So when we first go to stretch the horses, they curl back behind the vertical because their neck has a bend in it already. In other words, it's already crinked over in the middle. So when you get them to stretch, they tend to look like they're coming behind the vertical, which at first they do, and it's a hard situation to solve. A horse broken in the third vertebrae is, I consider, to be the worst fault a horse can have. It's like having a crimp in your wiring, so to speak. It makes the horse, everything short-circuit in the training. Until you correct that, it can be very difficult to get the horse to work through the back. So what I'm suggesting here, and I suggest this to everybody, once a horse has learned to lunge correctly, that is to stretch into the contact with the bridle, as you can see with this horse, side reins become unnecessary. And so with horses that have learned to crank over like that, as soon as you can get them to, I'm just suggesting that you lunge them without anything on as well. And I think it's a good idea to lunge horses without any tack on once they learn to lunge correctly and will stretch on their own, proving once again what a natural thing this is for horses to do, because they'll go into this frame once they learn it all by themselves. Maybe with a little encouragement every now and then, just like you see this horse doing here. So with these horses that have been broken back in the neck, this is one approach you can take to helping to correct that. Lunge them without anything on, because as soon as you put side reins on those kind of horses, even long ones, they tend to come down and then once again curl behind the bridle. So if you can get them to stretch down like this, and once they've learned, even if you have to use side reins at first, go ahead and get rid of the side reins and even lunge them with no tack on, which is wonderful for their backs. It gets them really swinging without that tack up there on them in their warm-up, which is a nice way to warm up before you put the saddle on. That's what we'll do with this horse. As soon as she's done lunging, then she'll put the tack on and away she goes. And her back has had a good chance to warm up and get stretched before we put anything constricting on it at all. So once again, I hope that helps a little bit. I'll be talking about some other riding techniques to help solve those problems as well. That is the over flexion of the neck problem as you stretch the horse and the horse coming behind the vertical. And we'll talk about that under saddle in a bit as well. So once again, Will Faerber from Art to Ride. Thank you very much for joining us today.